Hello, everyone. Mackie here, and welcome to a special edition of Mid-Season Madness. And boy, oh boy, this Mid-Season Madness has been living up to the name in more ways than one. This MSI has been incredible, from unexpected matches to big upsets expect to regional meltdowns in some cases. It has been a joy to watch for me. It has been an absolute joy to watch from literally start to finish. Now, as you all know, I'm recording this on July the 6th, which is the day off for MSI. And tomorrow, and for the rest of the week until Saturday night, we will have every single match being played on prime time until we have a winner. So there's a possibility I might have to do my reaction shorts the same way I do that, the same thing I did with my morning and my ap- night shorts. Also, thank everybody for looking at my shorts, viewing them on my YouTube or something. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, all these kind of stuff to make sure the channel grows and all these things, so I can keep the League of Legends fire burning, not only for MSI throughout the year and maybe to Worlds or something. So, as you can see from this beautiful, beautiful notepad, I listed 10 things that I looked at after this first week of MSI. What are the biggest talking points to look for to talk about? What are the things that many people are upset about? And what am I kind of look forward to? A reflection of what happened to week one. So we're just gonna dial into 10, and I'm gonna go through little by little, not that much talking about, or maybe many as talking about, but going through as much. So the first one is pretty much we got some inevitable results with some unexpectancies in between. Simply put, the first round of the MSI has the classic Asian teams winning T1, Genji, BLG, AL1. But, and I'm going to say the word but, that doesn't mean we have some really, really interesting ones. We're going to get to number two at the moment, but I feel like G2 Gen G was kind of a messy game, of course, from a Gen G perspective, of course. The fact that G2 got a game out of it surprised everyone because, let's be honest, and we're going to get to number two again in a moment. G2 just not look like a great team at MSI. No sugarcoating this thing. It's just the worst G2 performance I ever seen, since 2022 Worlds, and that's just saying something, of course. But Genji did not cover themselves in glory as well. They have not played brilliantly well. Yes, they've won their matches. They've beaten G2. They have a close one against AL, but even they have not have some pretty good matches to make me feel like, oh, they can dominate the MSI. Then again, patch changes, champions changes, team forms are kind of going to be different. So your expectations are kind of belittling just a little bit. Then we get the AL FlyQuest series, and I think, into my money, I feel like FlyQuest nearly, and I mean nearly done the business. The drafts were kind of the drafts were okay. The way their team compositions have been brilliant. And I feel like, yes, AL won, but I feel like FlyQuest nearly done something. I feel like FlyQuest maybe should have won this series, maybe should have won at least one or two games in that stretch, to the point of feeling like if FlyQuest would have executed that in game four, maybe and just maybe we would have a game five, and I would say that FlyQuest would have pulled off the upset, but it didn't happen. And then they got Mad Lions versus BLG. Sorry, MCoy versus BLG. And I just feel like, oh my Lord Almighty, MCoy should have got game four. MCoy should have won game four. We could have gone to game five. Murrin absolutely sent it in the worst way possible. And we got robbed from an absolute incredible series. It was a brilliant series, don't get me wrong. It was fantastic to see and all this kind of stuff. But the fact we didn't get off game five was an absolute tragedy. And then CFO versus T1 blew my mind in more ways than one. CFO looked like an incredible Chinese team in more ways than one. They're fearless. Doggo was incredible. Hongq was amazing. The rotation between driver and rest in most matches were some hit or miss, but it kind of worked out. And T1 has to broke them mentally in game five to even beat them, showcasing that CFO are just like in first stand are not something to play with, not something that you just have to scoff at and something to be thrown away to. They are coming in as a legit team. So while we get the results that everybody expected to, the most chalky results you ever imagined, I think for my money, this has been a tournament that has been full of decent good matches and unexpected results that feel like, oh, the Western team got like one game and CFO got like two games. And to showcase there are some really interesting matches, of course, matches that should have gone to game 5 or should have been go on the other way. So those kind of interesting things. So there was some, craziness that's going on right there. It didn't bring all the madness, but it piqued my interest. It piqued my interest just a bit. Let's go to number 2, and I think number 2 and number 3 is kind of linked. G2 long-term strategy backfires. And listen. I'm gonna look at the camera right now, and I'm gonna say this right now. Roman, you are a good guy. Listen, Roman, I like you. I like you. You have been probably the best general manager in G2 for a long time. The way you upload your scrim results after every LEC funnel showcase that you're brutally honest sometimes. The way that you put your heart on your sleeve sometimes, wearing face paint and all kind of stuff was cool. The way you constructed teams that is really cool. And listen, I'm gonna say some redeeming stuff about G2. Skumon looked like a pretty good, decent jungler, and if they can build right, they are like they. I think Skumon could be a really good jungler, of course. But I am sorry, Milan. This is an absolute failure on G2 spot. This is an absolute failure on G2 spot, and it shows in this MSI. And it's not just the playing stage; it is the entire bracket stage to a T. They scraped by Furia. They scraped by Gab. They got beaten by Genji, which is no surprise. And then to lose to FlyQuest. And let's be honest, FlyQuest was going to win this series anyways, but to get 3-0 by FlyQuest of all teams. And the worst part about it is that Caps is the literally only good player on that team. Hansen did do nothing. Labrov looked in. Broken Blade was not great in MSI, was not great at all. And it results in probably G2's worst performance since 2022 Worlds. And it just makes you feel like, and I know hindsight is 2020, but half Mickey X and Yike would have been there. Would G2 at least be decent enough? I said it would have been good enough. I said it would be like a top 4 team. They couldn't beat the Asian teams like they did last year. But the whole strategy of this whole thing is like, let's get rid of these guys. Let's bring in some new guys and just think about international tournament. Well, you finished 7th, 8th in the international tournament, so what is the whole purpose of this? Your team have not won a regional championship. And now your team has been embarrassed at MSI. And now, unless you can do well in summer, the expectations for G2 is kind of like as low as ever been. I mean, I've never had low expectations for G2 since 2018. And I have been doing this channel for like a long time. But I know the history of G2. I know this team. I know the reputation. This is a failure by everybody apart. And for anybody who don't know, saying, oh, Fnatic fans are not as toxic as G2 fans, well, scratch that. Fnatic fans are so toxic. No way G2 fans are more toxic than Fnatic. Ladies and gentlemen, G2 fans are. Turns out they are toxic. They criticize the whole G2 bus. And listen, if I were Roman, I will take this on the chin. I said this is my fault. This is my fault for investing all these things. We will going to get better. We're going to do well in summer. But let's be honest. I don't think G2 throughout the entire year have shown me that they're good enough to compete not only LEC, but internationally performances. Like, you have to rely on a BS bracket run a la T1 to even make it to the finals. And then even then you get clapped by K-Corp, clapped by Koi, and we're going to get to Koi and probably LEC in a minute. But it just reeks of absolute failure from a team who we all have to put our chips in to make the region better. And if G2 Esports cannot make this region better, then what is the point of watching LEC anymore? What's the point of watching any European League of Legends at this point? That leads us to number 3, is the question that is playing in on every single Reddit, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all the social media, and many in the community of League of Legends models. Is EU doomed? Is EU doomed? Is the region doomed? Now, my reactionary answer, my overreaction answer is no. I don't think LEC is doomed. I think this is more of an overreaction to what the streamers have said, what the Redditors have said, what the Facebook and all this kind of stuff said. I don't think the LEC is doomed. I know we're waking up right now and feeling the doomification of this region so much so that man MCoy lost to CFO of all regions. Are you kidding me? A region that has not won anything big since Taipei Assassins. Like, I can't believe it's just it's horrifying. Now listen, I didn't expect MCoy to do much, but I was expecting them to even at least be decent. Now, yes, they should have won. Listen, the way BLG have been shaky right now, I feel like they should have won Game 4. They should have won Game 4, could have gone to Game 5, and maybe, I'm not saying they could have gone far, but it would have been much better than G2 in this case. The fact that they're in their ballpark, and the fact that EU are now in the same hole as the fact that G2 and MCoy are in the same hole just reeks of like our region is dying. In fact, right now, the gap between NA and EU is not as small as many people. You're worried about the gap between LCP and LEC. That's the worrying part. The gap between LCP and LEC is much closer than many people realize. Now, I know this is just only a one team, of course, but if GAM nearly beats G2 and CFO clapped the hell of Man Lions, you're scared right now if Alex an LEC fan. You're really scared of an LEC fan. Cage is scared. Yanko's is scared. I Will Dominate is scared. Nightmare is scared. Rich is scared. Kyria is scared. Some, French commentator kind of scared. French commentators are scared. Abai is scared. All of the region is scared right now. And for good reason. You are watching a dying region, which is so weird to say that, knowing that every time North America did badly, it's like, this region is dying. Contract the region so that we can have more slots. And now it's LEC's turn to get absolutely crapped on. It's like so ironic, so incredible that it's the the shoe is on the other foot. But no, I don't think the LEC is doomed. The real kicker, if the LEC is doomed, is going to come at Worlds. That way we know how the LEC is doomed. But for now, I feel like this is not doomed. But the pessimism around LEC is going to be absolutely being felt at. From the viewership to the commentary to the reaction and all kinds of stuff. Listen, Eloya did a great interview, of course, with Sheep Esports. Being professional, all this kind of stuff. Talking about the gap between the regions and all that stuff, trying to break the ceiling, not playing well, many resources and all kind of stuff. But I wanted to do something here. I want to do a little research. So in case everybody noticed, this is table tennis. Since 1988, the table tennis have been, associated with, men's and women's table tennis. Now, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but stay with me here. I know League of Legends is different, but similar context, but stay with me here. Do you know that China has been dominating the Olympic Games since 1988? Since 1988, when the table tennis tournaments have started, China has been dominated in every single Olympics. In fact, look at the gold. 37 gold to Korea's 3. 37 goals to Korea 3. 66 medals to Korea 20. Most of them are bronze. That is utter domination from a absolute standpoint. And by the way, this is China, who, by the way, are also good at League of Legends. Same thing with Korea, of course. So, my knowledge, of course, is saying that maybe the Western teams will never be the Eastern teams. As I say, no, I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen one day. It's going to have that same feeling as like when CFO beat a major region team after 13 years. It's going to have that same feeling. I believe FlyQuest could beat BLG the way BLG are struggling right now. I believe that FlyQuest could do it. But there's that feeling of like, you can say all you want about, the gap is closing and all kinds of stuff. And then there's actually doing the thing. And I want to see FlyQuest actually doing that thing. Now, I know I'm getting a little sidetracked. I want to talk about EU, but it's probably the same thing right now. I don't think the LEC is doomed. But I'm feeling like, for the first time in a long time, the LEC is just not as good as many people ought to be. And G2 were not a good team. MCoy were kind of flawed, of course. Many people were saying K-Corp should have been in there. So, sorry, but K-Corp lost to Koi. I'm sorry. That if K-Corp would have won the Koi, Maybe I should have said K Corp would have been better, but I'm just like Monday morning quarterback in this whole thing. So it's just not good for Europe right now. It is just not good. And no, I'm not talking about Europe. I'm talking about EMEA, of course. It is not good for this region at all. I mean, losing. I mean, Paper X being Fnatic in Valorant, and now CFO being Koi in a League of Legends. It's dire straits, man. We are in dire straits. Oh my goodness gracious! If you're an LEC fan, you are absolutely feeling like you are just want to smash your keyboard and just be absolutely arranged with all of this. I just I feel you, man, but the problem is not the LEC, of course. It's the teams. It's the teams right now. So it's gonna be a long way back for Europe to even get some credibility, and they have to do it at Worlds. There's no way about it. They have to do it at Worlds, or it's gonna complete failure, of course. Let's go to some positive stuff. CFO and LCP should be respected among league community. I feel like I've already said it in my TikTok shorts, and I've said it already in my YouTube shorts, and I'm gonna say it again. We, as the League of Legends community, the sane people, apologize to the LCP and the CFO Flying Oysters for proving us wrong. I thought First Stand was kind of like a Mickey Mouse tournament, and the fact you got there is the testament to top esports crappiness and Team Liquid crappiness of all. But nope, the way you challenge against T1 and the way you sweep us out of MCoy, and I'm gonna say this, maybe they might give AL a run for his money. And yes, I may have AL winning the whole thing, and I'm not saying the whole thing, but more like the match. But I think CFO should not be respected. The LCP should not be respected. In fact, Gamma already took games out of G2, of course, in my opinion. Now, do I believe this is more of the LEC's faultiness than the LCP? Yes, I do, but you gotta beat who's in front of them, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstances. You got to beat who's in front of them. And let's be honest, right now the LCP is getting a lot of more, eyeballs. Consider this run. Maybe CFO could, you know, make it to top four. I have CFO make it to the final. So the the parlays is still there. The prop is still there, but maybe they might make it. But I think for CFO and I think for LCP as a whole, the way they've been playing, the way they have their style of play, the way the aggression is, the fearlessness, Honkyu and an incredible zero game one to finish that game. Doggo showing absolute killer instincts, of course. Driver and rest in some cases are good and bad, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe crap, and sometimes. But the point is that I believe the CFO should be respected among all the communities, not just the LEC, not just the LTA, but LPL and LCK, but all the communities. The LCP should be respected. It should be watched. It should be studied. It should be talked about more. And I know everybody's now treating this LCP like a minor region. Well, guys, the moment that Riot Games decided to merge all the regions, the LCP has already gone to major status already. And I think it elevated that major status tenfold with those performances at MSI. The next step, of course, is that can CFO do well, not only in MSI, but also at Worlds. And if they can do similar results as they've done in Worlds, that might give a little few eyeballs, and now it's going to be more respected. But for CFO to run it back and to do decently well, yet they did not beat T1, but they actually show some fight against this mighty good T1 team, who we now know are kind of the most inevitable clutch team ever, transitioning to number 5. I think LCP should be respected by many other community, and I feel like right now they could be the AL legends. They could be anyone's legend right now. I genuinely feel that way. That match will be tomorrow night, of course, so we'll see. The T1 team is clutch. They are the most clutch team in all of League of Legends. No sugar-coated way around it. Oh, my goodness. Down 2-1 against CFO. Managed to destroy them in both games 4 and 5. And then they face off against BLG, who, let's be honest, and I'm going to be brutally honest, BLG they're just not looking good right now, especially with Beijon being jungler and Ben looking absolutely bad. And Knight being the only good carrier on this team, it's just, BLG is just looking absolutely putrid, of course. But T1, of course, losing, of course, to this same team Actually, no, it's not the same team. BLG have Way in that team in the MSI. So it's not even the same team. But the same players on that team were involved. And 3 times BLG have like solid leads and pretty much do well. And 3 times they've lost because of Duran having an up and down game, an up and down series in some cases. Faker being not so great in most moments, but great when it matters the most. Carrier being Carrier, of course. Gumiyushi did fine. Owner on that Jin Zhao game. Pretty good. Pretty good on that Jin Zhao game. And it almost have that feeling right now that I've been saying it for a lot. I think T1 could win MSI. I know. Consider everything that T1 has gone through this entire last couple of months. The fact that T1 could win MSI, it's the absolute, craziest, most unsurprising thing that has happened. But here we are. We might see it. We might absolutely see it. And they're facing against a Gen G team that are still good, but have their flaws. And I feel like right now, this series is going to go 5 games. Remember, Akeem, this is the matchup that we were supposed to have at an LCK finals. But we got robbed out of the system, and now we are getting it on Wednesday night in front of a packed crowd in Vancouver. And I think it's going to be a really good series. And everybody was saying that, maybe Gen G will 3-0 T1. Oh, no. I think Gen G would win this series. And I already had them at my pick'ems. But betting against T1, as we learned from the last couple of years, it's a absolute cardinal sin that nobody should want to do. If you want to bet against T1, bet against them at your own peril. Because this T1 team has been looking decently good, struggling against CFO, of course. When it matters the most, when it's crunch time, when the chips are down, they always deliver. And that is a scary team. A scary team is have nothing to lose, but also have that confidence that they can just do anything they want and be good to win. I think T1 are the most scariest team remaining on the tournament. You can say that anyone's legends in there. Gen G are still the same. But I believe that I can say with certainty that T1 could be the most inevitable team yet, and it could win MSI. Now, if they beat Gen G once or maybe twice, then I think we'll have a different conversation. But their T1 are going to win MSI. I just can't believe this T1 team. This T1 team with Duran, with the most controversial top lane pick ever, in Duran is going to win MSI. Like, I just can't. I just can't right now. It's just, oh my goodness. Let's go to number 6. Anyone's Legends are not bad, and Shanks look good. I think Shanks have been like one of the best players in AL. I think Anyone's a Legend. Yes, they lost to Gen G, but I feel like this is one of the best series of MSI next to the CFO T1 series. And by the way, for anybody who counts, that is now 4 sweeps in the MSI compared to 5 silver scrapes in the entire MSI tournament. And 3 of which was when BLG played. That is insane to me. And Anyone's Legend was one of the teams that pushed Gen G to Game 5. And I think, yes, Gen G dominated the game. It is what it is. But its AL team is not looking. It's a really good team. I think AL is still a really good team. I rank them as high as number 2 in my rankings, and I'm still ranking them high, of course. I believe that Shanks is a pretty good player. Now, some of the players, Flandre and Tarzan, have some okay-ish games, not so great games. Tabe is a good coach. Don't get me wrong. But the real test right now is, can you beat FlyQuest? Now, listen, everybody expected the FlyQuest to just get killed over, AL win it, and then everybody in the West just going to cry over a river, of course, for the next couple of weeks. Or days, of course. But AL has to, put the foot down on FlyQuest and just showcase that the Eastern teams are way better than the West. If they were to do that, I believe they can win. Oh, wait. Oh, they're facing CFO. My brain just gone to another different level. They're facing against CFO. I think the same thing I could say about FlyQuest is the same thing I would say about against CFO. I think CFO are supposed to be roadkill. Yes, CFO, I put up some decent results. Yes, CFO look impressive, and yes, we praise CFO. But anyone's legend should win this series. I believe anyone's legend should win this series. Pretty much in a close one, but I think CAL legends are going to win this series. I believe Shanks are going to have a pretty good performance. The ball lane has to put up a decent performance. I think, CFO had some pretty good moments they have, but they're not have okayish moments like Driver having kind of like a couple of ins, of course. So I think AL are a good team. They're not a great team like your T1s and your Gen Gs in the world, but let's be honest, they're way better than BLG in my book. And BLG are just not so great right now. And in case anybody don't know, BLG will take on FlyQuest on Tuesday night. And I'm gonna say this right now: number 8 are kind of linked, of course, in which that there's a possibility that BLG could lose to FlyQuest, and it will be the greatest ever upset ever. Now let's be honest. The way that BLG have been playing for the last couple of series in the bracket stage, they have not looking great. They could have lost to Mad Lions and could have gone 5 games to Mad Lions, and now they got absolutely rinsed by T1, despite the fact they have good early game leads. Beijing is just not it, man. I've been saying about Beijing, man. We've saying about Beijing, man. Replacing Wave with Beijing. Actually, this is more of a backfire by not their own mismanagement. I think, you know what? Yeah, I think BLG mismanaged this whole situation pretty poorly. I think BLG mismanaged this whole situation pretty poorly. Not by their own fault sometimes, but pretty much mismanaged this whole jungle situation. Absolutely appalling and poor, of course, to the point of like Beijing just not looking great. And right now, Inspired has looked like the best Western jungler. Pretty much no strings attached, no sugarcoating this. This is Inspired domination MSI. And I think it's right now. If I were Inspired, I think this is me putting my foot down, dominate Beijing, and make this team better. Because listen, we all know Whipple's going to end sometimes. Masu and Bucio could be fine, and Quad is going to be decent, although you're facing against Knight, of course. But, and I said but, there is a world that Inspired can outgap Beijing and carry this team to victory. And if they do that, FlyQuest, and if FlyQuest manage to beat BLG, it will send shockwaves across the region and pretty much hurt LEC's reputation a lot more. But for a region and for let's say a region that has got pretty much the butt of the jokes the last couple of years, and it's not just League of Legends, it's also happening in CSGO, of course. NA's CSGO has not been great. They've been finishing below China and Mongolia. Like, China and Mongolia are better than NA CSGO. Like, what? That's just not it. And I think it's right now bleeding to League of Legends to the point of, like, the LTA is bad. The whole thing is laughable, all this kind of stuff. And that's just Riot's fault, of course, in some cases. But there's an opportunity for FlyQuest to rewrite the narrative that some people said that the North America cannot beat, the Eastern teams. That North America can't do it. That the West are doomed to fail and all kinds of stuff. This is an opportunity to rewrite the narrative. It's one thing, as Gumiyuchi said, to say it when the gap saying it's closed. It's another thing to actually put it on together. I think FlyQuest should have done that against AL. I think they have put in some decent games and should have won it. Now they have another opportunity right here, right now, in front of all these fans in Vancouver, in front of Masu's sister and Masu's mom and dad, of course. All these family and friends to put up a good show to beat BLG. I believe they can do it. I believe they can win. I think BLG can win this series, but I have faith in FlyQuest to win. I have faith in them. They're the only Western team left, and I believe they're the only good Western team that I can say they can beat the Eastern team. We will find out on Tuesday night, but I think it'll be interesting. As for BLG, I think there is a lot of soul searching. Bin is not looking great. Beijing is not looking great. Knight is the only person who can carry this team, and I feel like right now Knight has to carry this entire team to the finals, or maybe at least the top 4, and that will be respectable enough. And I think this team is going to lose. I think BLG is going to lose to FlyQuest, and if that happens, well, my Lord Almighty, you are not gonna have. They're gonna be in some unpleasant situations on the Weibo channel and Chinese communities. It'll be some unpleasantry for the Chinese community. But if you're an NA fan, great for us. Genji not looking as dominant as ever. I think I've already mentioned that. I think Genji has not looked like the men's himself, but they're winning series, of course. They've been decently clutch. None of the players have had like incredible series. Of course, Chovy, it's okay. Keen's okay. Ruler is okay-ish. Duro is having a decent, good MSI with some clutch performances, especially in that Blitzcrank Game 5 against AL to clutch that series. So it's like Genji are okay. They're not as dominant as I was thinking. As according to my personal props, they were supposed to be dropping no less than 5 games and route to the title, and just say Genji will destroy everyone in like you know in every single week, but they haven't happened. And now they're facing against T1, a team that I feel like many people have been slept on considering everything they've gone through. And maybe there's a world that T1 could beat them. Maybe there's a world that T1 could beat Genji and making this prop all the moot. But it will be a really interesting series to see. Can, Genji improve against a superior team at T1? We didn't get to see it in the LCK. Now Genji's biggest test is against a team that is clutch, that's inevitable, and I think that many people said they could beat them. Everybody's gonna root for T1. The fans are gonna root for T1. The community will root for T1. All the people in the community will root for T1. Can Genji handle this as the champions they are? They are the defending champions, and I want to show them, can they be like a championship performance? It'll be a close one, but I'll be an interesting one as well. And I think finally, the final thought I'm going to say is this the best MSI tournament ever? I believe so. This is the third year, by the way, in which we have the double elimination format, of course. 2023, 24, and 25 now. And I have to say that having double elimination in any tournament is the best thing to ever happen in League of Legends. In pretty much every other game, of course. Like, Worlds may have your Swiss stage single elimination, but no. Give me the double eliminations. Give me the second chances. Give me the absolute lower bracket runs that will be memorable for years to come. Like, when Moist Esports, went on an insane run in the Rocket League and managed to win in London in the Rocket League tournament. That's the kind of runs that I want to see. Lower bracket runs, incredible matches, magnificent silver scrapes, unexpected performances, hype up upsets, drama, historical performances. CFO finally become the first Asia Pacific team in 13 years to win a major region. Like, what more do you want from MSI this year? What more do you want from this MSI tournament this year? It has been an incredible MSI tournament for the first week onwards. And now we're getting to the second week where every single match is prime time until the finish. And maybe we might see some, chalky performances. Maybe we might get the expected results. But the only way to make this MSI tournament incredible is for CFO and FlyQuest to make top 3. And the only way to do that is for CFO and FlyQuest to win the tournament. And if that happens, we'll guarantee CFO and FlyQuest to be like a top 3 team. And that, my friends, it'll be incredible. And if you want to make MSI even more incredible, have one of those teams beat an LCK team and make the finals. And then maybe win the whole thing. It'll be incredible. And that's a little far-fetched, and that'll be way, way too imaginary. But this MSI tournament has so far exceeded all my expectations. Even the playing stage, of course, exceeded my expectations. When everybody expected like G2 and BLG just dominate everybody, BLG dominated, but Genji looking absolutely ass, especially against Gam and Furia. By the way, Furia has won more games in the playing stage than Europe has had in the bracket stage. Let that sink in for a minute. The LTA South, a team from the LTA South that was never supposed to be in there, have won more games at play-ins than the entire European region at the bracket and MSI. That just makes the LEC situation even worse. So yeah, it just goes to show you that maybe you can tweak the bracket just a little bit, Riot. Then you can make this tournament even cool. And this MSI is looking absolutely incredible with all the unexpected results, all the chaos, and all the madness that comes with it. So I enjoyed this MSI so much. Long may it continue throughout the next couple of days. And let's see if we get more upsets. Let's see if we get some unexpected results. Genji might win this whole tournament, but let's see some craziness. I want more craziness. Bring it on. Bring it on. I want more craziness. I want more excitement. This MSI has been fun, and I hope everybody who's listening, watching, and subscribing to my videos and all kind of stuff enjoy the fun as well, as should you. So we have finished our thoughts about all the MSI going into week one, and unfortunately, I have to look at that poor, poor stain of my playing in predictions that Hamcourt just got destroyed by CFO. Now, again, this is me being wrong, and again, this is me being wrong about CFO and the region. I never expected them to compete against T1 the way they did. And thank God every single one of them are perfect, except for this result. So I was wrong about this. I was definitely wrong about this Pick'ems, this MCoy losing to CFO. I was wrong. Never expected that CFO could do something. And yet they did something against T1 and they did something against McCoy and they were so incredible, especially that game four when they were so clean. Doggo was unbelievable on failures. Like he was unbelievable on failures. He made that champion look like 2,000 years old. Rolling back the days. So I think, yeah, hey, listen, my pick'ems have been ruined. My perfect pick'ems are ruined. Goodbye, luck skins and all kind of stuff. But for the fun of League of Legends and for the fun of this story for CFO, I will take that on the chin. Unfortunately, I have AL beating CFO. BLG will take on FlyQuest. And then I got Genji beating T1. But I think it'll be a really interesting matchup. Genji will beat AL. T1 will lose to AL. And then we got the Genji, T1, Genji, AL finals. And then Genji will win. So I got Genji still winning the tournament. But there'll be a lot of interesting stuff between now and the rest of the tournament. So stay tuned for that. As for my rankings, we recalibrated rankings after the first week and some interesting stuff. There'll be a lot of controversy about this. There'll be a lot of controversy about this whole rankings, but this is my rankings, my viewership, my kind of viewership. Take it with a grain of salt. Genji are number one, as per usual. AL are kind of close number two, and it shows in an incredible good 5 game series between them. So I got Genji and AL one and two. T1 is now move up to number three and look impressive after beating BLG. And I feel like right now they're looking like they're marching their way to the inevitable title or the inevitability of T1 being absolutely good when nobody was expecting it to be there. CFO surprised me and I think they deserve the fourth spot. I think the LCP deserves something. I think that CFO are based on my rankings a really good team. You say all you want about the league, of course. You can say all you want about the lack of things, but the way they did well against T1, the way they did against you know MCoy was incredible. They show up, they play fearless League of Legends. They have show up and pretty much in my eyes. I think the most controversial thing is number 5, 6. I think 4, 5, and 6 are controversial for me, and I think there'll be a lot of controversy. So again, this is my ranking, so please don't take it with some grain of salt. But I think the controversy is that I feel like FlyQuest should have been a little more up than CFO. I get regional stuff and I get all of these things, but in my eyes, I think CF by the eye test and the way they've been playing, I think CFO are a much better team than FlyQuest. Now, of course, the only way to happen is that these two teams will meet, and they have to pull like incredible upsets to do it. But in the eyes of many, I think CFO have done it. I think FlyQuest are a better. I think listen, FlyQuest beat a really awful G2 team. No sugarcoating the way about it. That was an awful G2 team that I've witnessed. And yes, they did pull up close against AL, but again, close is only happening in horseshoes and grenades. So I don't feel like yes, they were close and they were putting some decent series, but I think FlyQuest are just actually. You know what? I'm gonna let you know what I'm gonna let you know what I'm gonna give FlyQuest the benefit of the doubt. You know what? Let me just put FlyQuest right there just to like not anger some people. There you go. I put FlyQuest number 4. I think they'll be better. I think they're better than CFO, despite saying that CFO did better. And unfortunately, I have to put BLG 6. They have not looking great at all. They should have lost to Man Lions in game 4. That was more of a lucky assist to win that series, of course. They were awful against T1. They had leads and they're not looking great. Beidron looking good. The only reason why they're kept up is because of Knight. And even then, I feel like Knight has to carry this load of a waste of a team all by himself. And I don't think he'll do it. So I have to put BLG down for 6th place in my rankings. So there you are, the final 6 teams remaining in the league in the MSI, all ranked up and all being talked about. So we got our thoughts, we got our pick ends predictions, we got our teams, and now let's see. Now it's time for me to look forward to what's going to happen. Now Listen, I think hindsight is saying that Genji is going to win this tournament straight up. Consider all the chaos that we've gone on in MSI this week. It is just saying we're going to have a really, really crazy MSI finish, of course. Now, if Genji were to lose, who's the other favorite? I believe T1 are going to be the favorites to win this thing. Anyone that just could try, but the aura, yes, that's a crazy word to say. The aura of T1, the clutchness of Faker, the inevitability of this team, it's just way too much than any other team. That even if AL were like the second best favorites, everybody will be straight up beating T1. As for FlyQuest and CFO, they have to show me something. They have to pull off the big upsets. Now, listen, FlyQuest and CFO beat two of the worst teams in probably the worst region ever. Which, by the way, I think David made a TikTok video about it, saying that that the LTA North is higher than the LEC. Which, listen, how come listen? First of all, why the separation of the regions? It doesn't make sense. Again, the whole LTA thing, it doesn't make sense at all. Secondly, I never thought I'd see today that the North America is better than Europe. I never thought I'd see today. But the global rankings don't lie. I think we're gonna go to the global rankings after this. So yeah, we're gonna go to the global rankings, of course. It's different from my rankings, but we're gonna go to that afterwards. But in order for FlyQuest and CFO to you know, exceed everybody's expectations, they have to be the Asian teams. They have to be the AL and they have to be BLG. These are two LPL teams left, and if they manage to beat both of them, then Mazel Tov. You earn the right to be in the top four. You've earned the right to some respect, and you've earned the rights of many people, me included, the level of respect that you deserve. Now, will that happen? Maybe not. But I will see them try. I want to see these teams try. The thing that infuriates me as a person who loves League of Legends is to see some Western teams play decently well and then crumble in the end. We saw that at Worlds last year when Flacos are doing incredible and then crumble. We saw it this year when CFO did well and then crumble. It's the same. It's similar to every single region. It's like, okay, Western teams are gonna do well, then Eastern teams kind of adjust, and then Eastern team crumbles over Western teams, and Western teams kind of give up. I want to see Western teams show up and absolutely beat them. And if they want to go 5 games, I want to see have the mental fortitude, like not just the hand stiff and everybody else, but the mental fortitude to know that things are getting rough, composition and champions wise and all kind of stuff. They might win. They might win this whole tournament. They might win this whole, you know, they might win this whole thing. They might. I'm not saying winning an MSI or anything, but being BLG, being AL, that feels like winning 10 worlds or 10 MSIs to their eyes, to the many viewership eyes. So I believe in my narrative sense that I want to see FlyQuest and CFO in that lower bracket finals, in that lower bracket match. Will that happen? No, but I would love to see that happen. I would love it to see that happen. So, with that being said, let's talk about props and update the props that is going on within the MSI. And then we'll go to the global rankings and then my follow thoughts. Okay, now let's look at the global rankings. As you can see here by the regional score, the LTA North is way better than the LEC. I never thought I'd see the day that happened, but here we are. And the LTA South is like, Riot, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you doing this to yourself? It's not even fair anymore. It's not even fair. It's not even close. LCP is getting up there, so LCK and LPL are just miles ahead. In terms of team rankings, Gen G and Hololive are still number one and number two. T1 has moved up to number 3 in the rankings, ahead of BLG and AL. Pretty much saying something about T1 dominating BLG and pretty much T1 being the top 4. The fact that all 3 LCK teams are in there is just saying that the LCK are back to being top, man. That's maybe temporary. It may not matter that much, but that's saying something. FlyQuest is saying a 6, Top Esports 7, CFO 8. How come they're not moving up that much? But it is what it is. KT roster 9, Talon 10th. Interesting. Cloud9 fell off 1 spot. JD and G2 swap positions. They're both tied to 14th. Gam Esports moved up 2 spots to 17th. And you can see MCoy fell off out of the top 20. They were replaced by Noshim Red Force. MCoy are below Nosham, Red Force, and Team Liquid. Like, what the hell? My goodness. So, yeah, those are the rankings. Those are just some snippets of the rankings. But the top 10, it pretty much changed with T1 being number 3 and the two LPL teams being 4 and 5, respectively. So, that's just the nature of it. As for my props, we have so far the Silver Scrapes have been banging. The record for most game fives in MSI it's 7. We have the two lower bracket matchups, the one lower bracket game, the upper bracket match, the last upper bracket match, and then the finals. And I think that's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, 6 matches remaining. We have 6 matches remaining, and the over for Silver Scrapes is 5. We have already hit the push. Now we need like one more 5 game series to happen. And I believe it might happen throughout this MSI. And I think we might, and I said might, match the record for MSI game fives. We might overcome it, but I believe we might match the record, of course. Vi, of course, usually I make an outlandish pick to say Vi could be picked over 70%. It's at 54.2%. It's not going to happen. Hell, I even pick Aatrox to have a pick ban rate over 65%. It's now 17%. Oh, this is what happens when Fearless is becoming a thing, your champion priorities and who can play and all kinds of stuff. It happens sometimes. These things happen. Also, small note that Kalista is over in MSI so far. I think she and Renata are like over in MSI so far, and I think it makes sense because Kalista it's an okay short range champion, but against tanks and all the bruisers and all kind of stuff, I think she kind of like fell off completely. Not saying that Kalista could be played, it's just that how can you play Kalista against a composition that is just going to destroy you and outrange you and all kinds of stuff? That's going to be a really, really mighty question. Just ask MCoy after that game 4 performance against CFO. Yeah, ask that question. I got 4 Western teams wins over Eastern bracket stage. FlyQuest is going to be the only team that might break that prop. FlyQuest could be the only one. The only way that this prop will be made is for BLG to sweep FlyQuest. Now, does that mean that FlyQuest is going to get swept? No, I don't think so. But the only way that's going to happen is BLG to sweep FlyQuest. Consider how BLG are playing so far, I think it may not happen. But I will love to see it happen. Genji to drop less than 5 games and root to the title, they have to be like only lost 1, maybe 2 games in order for a push. But I want them to lose like 1 more game. But against T1, against that inevitable team, and God knows it might face in the finals, it'll be tough. 4 pentakills at MSI. We only got 1 by Doggo, of course, in that epic CFO matchup with the Kaylin, of course. None in the mid lane so far, which is going to be like, hey, we might wait and see, but it'll be tough. 2 Baron Seals we said under 7. I said under 7 Baron Steals. I get 2 so far. That's fine. 8 Elder Dragons being killed. Now I noticed I changed the word from spawned to killed, which means 8 Elder Dragons being killed during the tournament. We have 7 so far, which means so many games have gone to like late game scaling, late game comms, 30, 35 minutes and all the action and all kind of stuff, which is fine. And then I got CFO to reach finals. It is a long stretch. It may not gonna happen. They have to like beat AL. They have to beat AL. Then they have to beat FlyQuest or BLG. And then they have to beat one of the Korean teams, which consider how they did against T1, it might happen. But if they were to say face Gen G, then all bets are off. But I believe in the Flying Oysters, guys. If you believe in the Flying Oysters, please put a comment that saying I believe in Flying Oysters. That's not a food recommendation, but that is a killer prayer to say. I believe in Flying Oysters. I believe that Flying Oysters will reach finals. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That should conclude our proportions of this week of MSI Madness. Now, of course, next week we'll be going through week two matches and then find out who's the champion, all the kind of stuff. My thoughts about all the MSI. What do you think about the winner? Narrative stuff. How big is the winner? How huge will be the narrative going forward towards Worlds and all this kind of stuff. So this is just the week 1 version, of course. Next week will be the week 2 version, of course. Along with my TikToks and shorts, of course, talking about, all the matches that take place. Yeah, so anyways, that could conclude this version of the Midseason Madness. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And now, I think, that I know it's gonna be a weird thing to say, but as you all know, the last couple of days we lost two people in a horrific accident, and saying these things is gonna be hard. So I'm gonna do a little tribute right now. As we all know, we lost Diogo Jota and Andre Silva to an horrific accident. Can I have time? I think I have time. Yeah. So I'm gonna just say something right now, just a couple of minutes, but I will do that right now. My father is a Liverpool fan, and he loved this guy so much. He loved this guy so much. He sad that he cannot be playing that much football because of the injury. He was pretty much the most important player on the team. And it's not just the on the field that he can produce, that fans and players and teammates should remember. It's the way he talks, the way he encouraged all the locker rooms and all kinds of stuff. And for him and for his wife and his three children to be knowing that his children will never have a father, never have a life to, to be remembered by, never get to wake up and see their father again, and never get to know what he's looked like and all this kind of stuff. These children will have to watch interviews and learn about football and know that his father was great. And sadly for him, it's just the tragedy of this thing. It's just, it hurts so much. And it hurts so much that the guy was 28 years old. And in a few months from now, in a few weeks from now, I'll be 28. And time in these cases is fleeting so fast. You never know when tomorrow is. There are no such things. There are no guarantees in life. There are no certainties. It's the same thing with League of Legends. As I'm just a little off topic, of course, that a couple of months ago we lost Shuei, one of the original winners from the Fnatic team that won Worlds, to cancer a couple of months ago. And these are the things that happen. And same thing with Johnny Hockey a couple of months ago, how big of a loss it is for the hockey community. The same thing with losing to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva, of course, towards football and all that kind of stuff. And I know words are hard to say. There are no right words to say. And maybe, this is maybe not the right time to do it. But on behalf of everybody here in my channel and all the channels and everybody else, my heart goes out to Diogo Jota's wife, their children, their families, their friends, the Liverpool community, all the players, all the staff, the coaches, and everybody else for losing two horrific souls and two horrific people that they'll never be forgotten. Their souls may be lost, but their lives will be lived forever. So as I go here, I wanted to, and as I finish off my video, I want to say this to everybody. Please contact your people, your grandmothers, your uncles, your family, your friends. Hell, I have my best friend. I have two best friends, in Giovanni and AJ, and contact them, talk to them. Please tell them that you love them. Know that they are there for you, because you never know where tomorrow is. You may be there 1 minute, you may be gone the next, and time is fleeting in some cases. And yeah, enjoy them. Enjoy all the things that happen. Enjoy each and every moment like it's your last, because you never know where everything it is. You never know when tomorrow comes. There are no guarantees in life, just like these two. And unfortunately, they will never have a tomorrow. These children will never know what tomorrow without their dads and all that stuff. And these families and friends will never know tomorrow without their persons. So on behalf of everybody, my condolences to them. Rest in peace to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. And thank you all for watching. God bless everybody. Walk good and look out for each other.